Hello and welcome to part A of the fourth episode of Ukulele Jam Kit. This is a weekly 4-part series that includes a chord progression, scale, strum pattern, and riff to create your own toolkit of jam techniques. If you'd like to see how these all come together, check out episodes 1, 2, and 3 down in the description below. Today we're going to work on a chord progression, and this is a really cool chord progression because it creates a unique, rich harmony and texture to our track. The reason why this one is unique is because it's in E minor but uses a Dorian mode to create that really cool sound. We'll talk more about the theory behind that in next week's episode, but this sort of sound is found in songs such as Mad World and Oye Como Va, which I actually have tutorials of down in the description below. But let's go ahead and dive into the chord progression that we're going to be doing here in E minor E Dorian. Well, we're going to start with an E minor chord, but not your boring everyday one. Instead, we're going to play one that looks like this. We're going to play our 4th fret on the C string with our index finger. Then we're going to take our pinky finger and bar it across the 7th fret of the E and the A strings. Now, this is a pretty tricky bar with your pinky. This is the ideal way to play it, but it's okay if you end up wanting to use your ring finger to bar over the 7 of the E and the A. And if that's still too challenging, it's also okay to put your pinky on 7 of the A and your ring on 7 of the E. But I really do recommend getting comfortable with that bar. Remember that when you do this bar, you bring your pinky all the way up to that fret wire and then bring the hand back a little bit to pinch that A string closed so that you get a good tone over it. So, ring finger or pinky. That's the first chord, our E minor. The second chord we're going to go here to is a D chord. And we're going to play this by taking our index finger and barring it across the 2nd fret. And then taking our pinky and adding it here on 5 of the A string. We're going to play that all the way through. Now again, if you're struggling with the bar, get right up next to that fret wire. That pinky on the A string can be tricky and get a good tone. Get it right up next to that fret wire. And that's our D chord. And then the last chord of this progression is an A chord. And we're going to play our normal A chord, middle finger here on the 2nd fret of the G string, and index finger here to the 1st fret of the C string. But then we're going to take our pinky and add it here to the 4th fret of the A string. So this is an everyday A chord just with our C sharp note, which is the 4th fret of the C string, and the 1st fret of the, our 1st fret of the C string, and our 4th fret of the A string. You hear how that's doubled instead of what's normally doubled, which is an A note. And the reason for this is, again, we'll talk more about the theory next week, but the C sharp note is what makes E Dorian have its sound. So we're trying to really highlight it with this progression. So those chords are E minor, D, and A. Now to practice this, what we're going to do is we're going to play 2 strums on the E minor, 2 strums on the D, and then 4 strums on the A. And we're going to make these motions nice and slow so that you can play along. And what I really want you to look at is how my fingers sort of slide into positions. You'll notice that my fingers don't really come off the fretboard as I make these transitions. And that's very important because that creates the sound that we're looking for in the fluid motion. So we're going to start here with the E minor. We're going to do 2 down strums. Then we're going to switch to the D, and you'll notice my pinky sort of slides down and over. Index, instead of coming all the way off and coming on, kind of slides up and over. 2 strums there. And then as I go to the last chord, the A chord, I'm just going to slide my pinky down, pivot the index to 1 on the C, and move the middle over to 2 on the G, and 4 times on this. So let's go ahead and try this together. 2 strums on the E minor, 2 strums on the D, 4 strums on the A. I'll go ahead and count it in. 3 and 4, and down, 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 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. That's our chord progression in E Dorian. We'll be using this progression in parts B, C, and D, so be sure to get practice with those transitions and make them nice and comfortable. If you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like, as well as consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to download a PDF that includes these chords as well as all of the other materials covered here on Ukulele Jam Kit, please check out my Patreon page, which is linked down in the description below. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week on the next part of Ukulele Jam Kit episode 4. Thanks so much.